take care of. So I'm doing that. Let's see. Donna, there you are. There we go. All right. So let's see who's here. If you do not have your video allowed, you can look down in the bottom of your screen, bottom left-hand side of your screen. There is a mute and a stop or start video. So if you click on start video, we'll be able to see you too. All right, so we have Donna and
where do I
good morning, Joe.
What?
And Jean.
You have to move your screen. Move the mouse. Snotty diff.
And Marty and
What is she
Jennifer
looking
and
for?
Paul.
Oh, there it is.
Lynn is here twice. Okay, hi Lynn.
These two are the microphone.
And then
muted,
Barb,
or you
Carrie.
see, they can see you.
Melody.
I have to record it on my Windows machine. It won't record on my iPad.
Oh, got it. Okay. And Barbara Huff and Barbara McVean. So
Barb
Get
Ulrich,
me some more coffee.
Barb Ulrich.
Sorry.
just
Where are
plain
you?
old BARB.
Oh, there you are. I see you.
I don't see me.
What's that?
I don't see me.
You may have speaker view rather than gallery view, and that is in your upper right-hand corner. Typically, it's a little bit different for me, but it should say view in the upper
Okay, I
right-hand
want
corner.
gallery view.
Uh-huh. And then you'll be able to meet everybody.
There
I
I
can see
am.
Barb. Yeah, I see her.
Hey.
Yeah, we saw you. All right. So Joe is here, Donna's here, Melody's here, Mary's here, Lynn is here, Barb Hoff is here, Jennifer. I don't think, is Jennifer on yet? Oh, Jennifer's right in front of my nose. All right, got it. Tanya? No Tanya
missing.
yet. Just kind of giving everybody a minute to get situated. Barb McBain, Martha, is Martha? Yep, Marty, okay. Jean Rose? Jean is up, I gotcha. And Barb Ulrich is here.
Yep.
All right, and Jerry.
Thank you. Okay.
So,
See you later.
did
Oh.
everyone receive the handout?
Yes, and I have a question.
Oh, there we go, Barb, got it.
I
Yes.
tried to print it out on 2 separate pages and I can't get it to print. The page
happy with you
2
being
is split in
involved.
half.
Huh.
And
Yeah.
page 3
See you
is
later.
partially on the end of page 2.
Oh dear. Well, what you may need to do, that's a printer setting. So you may need to, when you go to print, tell it to zoom to fit so that, or fit to one page in your printer settings. And that'll correct that for you.
Okay.
But for now, just kind of lay it out so that it's, so you can
Once you
tell what's
tell
going on.
To click on the picture.
Okay.
and that will
So,
make the picture come out on one page.
I'm going to call on people. Some of you are muted, which is fine, although I'll ask you to unmute yourself for a moment, which will be in the bottom left-hand corner. I would like to know, as we go around the room, if you are brand new to software or if you have any familiarity with it. And the second thing I'd like to know is, are you semi-new to embroidery, or have you been embroidering forever and you're ready to finally take the plunge into the next level? So Donna, give us a quick what for.
Okay, ladies, I've been embroidering for a while and I did take this class before, but my mind wasn't really where it should have been at the time. So I'm taking this as a refresher course. So,
Right.
and it's a good thing. It's a wonderful, you'll
Yeah.
love it. You'll love
Donna
it.
has been in the embroidery club for quite a while, and my understanding from up front, when some people re-signed up, is they said, I'm a muddler and I want to do it some more, so I understand how to do it,
2.
the right way. Okay, Joe, tell us about you.
I'm not, okay. I wasn't sure if I was muted or not, but I can see the little microphone.
Yes, you are
Speaking.
not. We can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. I'm totally new to Premiere Plus 2, and I haven't done that much embroidery, a little bit here and there, but just got a new machine. So I wanted to learn more about how to, how to create
Excellent.
things.
What embroidery, what is your brand of sewing machine?
It's a Bernina.
Okay, excellent. Okay, Jean, tell us about
Hi.
you.
I'm new to the software and I've been just embroidering for a couple of years and I have a baby lock Unity. So I'm interested in learning to do more.
Okay, Marty.
I taught home economics for 19 years, and we were very lucky in 2007 to get money so I bought an embroidery Viking sewing machine from our dealer out that way. And so I've done a lot, and I was dealing with the 5D embroidery program.
Ah,
And
you're gonna be delighted.
so I've gotten into this one, and I think I've put together a piece that I would like to do just to see if I could do it. So, but I need to know how to export because I have all these designs from Husqvarna that or Viking that I need to see if I can use on my 790. I just bought a new 790.
Bernina also, okay. All right, excellent. Jennifer, you are muted, so you'll have to unmute to talk to us. Tell us about
Hey
you.
there.
Hi.
I got a new machine and the program for Christmas. I would say I'm an advanced sewer, but embroidery is brand new to me. But I will say, in the 2 months I've had this machine, I've just been going crazy practicing. And so I've been in and playing in the program, and I've been embroidering on the machine. But it's like one thing. I don't know how to put it all together like in a scene
Sure.
or something.
Okay, and what brand of machine do you have?
I have the FOF Creative Icon.
Excellent. Okay, excellent. It's just helpful for me to know because we use a different file format for the different machines, and it's helpful if I know who I've got in the room so I kind of know what formats we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to grab a pencil to write this down, but Mary, Mary, who is named Paul today because
Yep.
it's Paul's account, tell us about you.
I've got the Solaris and I've been embroidering for quite a while. And Don Wells talked me, and Diane out there talked me into buying the Premier 2. And I saw what Dawn did. She has completely quilted on the Solaris using Premier 2, changing the shape around. They are beautiful, the quilting that she has done. And I wanted it for that.
I love it.
But she's done about 8 quilts that she is completely finished and quilted herself. And the quilting on them is unbelievable.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, Lynn has a Bernina, I believe. Is that true story?
Yep, true story. Although I did get a new one, a new Bernina,
What you got?
Oh
the
my God.
790. And
Okay.
it came with the other little machine, so I can sew and embroider at the same time.
She's in. She's in. I love it.
So my main thing is I want to finally take a project that we've worked on and actually get it to my sewing machine and do the sewing of it. So
Right. Right. Lynn has been in club before, and she told me that she's very adept on the computer. She said, but I've never embroidered anything. And I was like, what? So Katie did want me to let you know that we have an hour-long Bernina how to embroider video
Oh,
on our website or on our YouTube channel or somewhere. And I'm going to make sure I get that out to you so that you know how to do that.
I've embroidered a lot of things on my machine, but they've already been programmed. So I've never
Got it.
just taken a created program
Got
and
it.
transferred it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Barb Ulrich.
I did a lot of embroidery when my granddaughter was little, and she's now 21, so she's not into wearing things that are embroidered. And I had a slight stroke, and I can't remember where stuff is and how to find it. So that was a couple of years ago, and so I want to get back to it. And I make quilt labels for my friend, And so I need to find the fonts because she wants me to make them bigger than what I've been doing. And I'm,
Oh, we're gonna do fonts today. Yay.
oh, yay.
On the schedule. What type of embroidery machine do you have?
I have a Viking and I just bought the FAF icon.
Oh, yay. Okay. Who else had an icon? Raise your hand. Somebody told me that. Barb's got an icon. Jennifer, did you have an icon also? Somebody else had an icon. Yes, Jennifer. Okay. Sorry, I didn't have my pencil when I first started this.
I didn't mention my machine. I have a 790 Bernina.
I knew what you had, but thank you.
Right.
All right. Jerry?
I have an icon and I'm a muddler. I only do this when you teach me. I've never done it on my own.
Okay.
I'm
All
pitiful.
All right. Emily is how we're recording here at the shop. So Katie's got it recording back there. Barbara Hoff, tell us about you.
I've been embroidering for about 10 years. I have a Bernina 770, and I started with the Premier 2 Club right in the middle of it about a year ago. So I decided to go back and start from the beginning and get caught up with the parts that I missed.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Barb McBean. My speaker isn't cooperating. I have a Viking Topaz and have had Premiere for a couple of years. Look at her go. She knows how to use the technology. I like it. Thanks, Barb. All right, Melody, tell us about you. You're muted, so go to your bottom left-hand corner and click on your microphone so you can talk.
Hi.
There we are.
Hi. I'm not at my house, so that's why I was just kind of following along.
That's fine.
Sorry.
That's fair.
I wasn't able to install my software.
You say you were or you were not?
So I kind of wanted to kind of watch.
Okay, so yours is
What
not
you
installed
did
yet, is
today.
that correct, Melody? It was cutting in and out.
I got to the part of activation, and this is my first time of purchasing. It's not active, so it's not completely installed. I ran into a hiccup.
Okay. I will want you to shoot me an email if you need help and give me your phone number and I will walk you through that if you need help with that when we get that far.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So Marty, tell me again what machine you have. I missed it.
I have a 790 plus.
Okay, great. And Jean, what have you got?
I have a Baby Lock Unity.
Baby Lock. Okay, great. Baby Lock. All right. Okay, so the way we're going to do class today, just to kind of give you an idea of what's going to happen, I will be sharing my screen, showing you some things, which means that I will, in essence, take over your screen. And you'll go, ah, I can't do what I need to do. I promise I'm going to release the screen and give it back to you so that you can poke around and do some of the things that we're going to do. Jerry, hello. This is the first time we've ever hit video.
I've tried to figure out how to turn it on and I just got it figured out.
Woohoo!
Sorry.
That's awesome. So sometimes in the past when I've taught owners classes, there's like this outline that we can use from Premiere, but we don't do anything. We just like see where everything is. So I have taught this class this way one other time, and people really enjoyed it because there was a project they could take and sew out at the end of it. So there will be a project at the end, and we are going to create, I'm sorry, I'm not mirrored right now. Oh, yes, I am. A little tea towel that has an encore design on it. This little flower is in our software. We're going to use it. We're going to turn it into an encore, and we're going to use a font to get the lettering in there that says spring has sprung. So as you start to see the crocuses come up, you can stitch out your towel and put it out. Or if the crocuses haven't started, you can put your towel out and hope for spring. As I'm watching all the snow melt outside. We are going to, yes.
Sorry, are those special towels that we can buy or? Because that looks like it
This-
does have a lot of like terry cloth surface to it, like
It's kind of a linen. It's Dunroven House. We have had these in the shop before for some of our Kimberbell projects. So it's more like of a little linen kitchen towel, tea towel
Okay.
kind of thing. One of my favorite places for new embroiderers to go so that you don't have to make the project that you embroider on is Tuesday mornings. They have
Okay.
inexpensive linens and you can buy a whole like pack of them, take them home, use them, and you think, oh, I would never put that out. And once you get your embroidery on there, you go, oh yeah, I would. And I might even give it as a gift. So Tuesday mornings has inexpensive linens. And like anything else, we have to practice a bit because it happens. Things don't go quite right. When I got my first embroidery machine, I didn't get to take a lesson right away and I wasn't going to wait. And I did several things and I was like, this machine knows what it's doing. And so I got her all started. Don't know quite what happened because I went upstairs and by the time I came back down, the feed dogs were out of the machine. The thread was down in it. The hoop was all askew and I was like, who? And I couldn't get it loose. I absolutely could not get it loose. And so I thought, well, what am I going to do? So I went upstairs and got the longest butcher knife that I had and carefully slid it under, because I knew the project was toast, slid it under the hoop and sawed the threads away. My daughter came home from school, came down the stairs behind me and said, how's it going, Mom? And when I turned around with the butcher knife, she said, I'm out. That kind of stuff does happen. And part of knowing how to do something is knowing how to get out of the weeds. So hopefully we can help with some of that.
Where is Tuesday morning?
Tuesday mornings, I'm not from Columbus, so somebody help me. There's one, anybody know where one?
There's one on Morris Road, across from Easton.
Oh, God, I live in Marysville.
Oh.
There used to be one in Dublin.
Right.
There's one in Dublin.
There's
one in Dublin.
There used to be
One
one
in Dublin?
Will
Okay.
run.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Sure. I know Joe has a Mac, so it's going to get a little weird for her here in a hot second. Does anybody else have a Mac that we didn't catch when you guys registered, or is everybody else a PC? Everybody else is PCs. So Joe, what we're going to do.
I'm a Mac.
You have a Mac also,
Yes,
Barb?
I'm a Mac.
Okay, the screen mirroring today is going to be on Windows, so it's going to get very, very odd. I will try, and I sent Joe you've got the screen for the Windows, Barb, rather than for a Mac. So you may or may not be able to follow. We are going to record a session for the Mac when I'm on my Mac to show how to get to all the different things. So the capability of both programs are the same, but the interface is very different, right, Lynn? Because Lynn has come to class with a Mac and then gone home and worked on a PC. So she's jumping back and forth between the two as well. So you're not going to see the same thing, Barb and Joe, on your screen as you're going to see on mine, but the capabilities are the same, and we are going to make sure we get you a video or a short session where we can run through and go through all of the Mac things.
Today?
So,
Will that be today?
today? Another class immediately following this one. So it'll have to be a little bit later in the week, but we will get that to you for sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. I am going to share my screen now. So you may have to minimize your gallery view or you'll have faces all over top of it. I can't see the participant view when I do this. So I'm never quite sure what you're going to get, and we'll get that all figured out. So let me do a share screen, and we're going to share that one. And so now you should be able to see my dimensions quilt and my screen.
Yeah.
Does everybody see that? Can I get a thumbs up if you got it? It looks like we're seeing yeses. Okay, great.
Pretty.
Over there.
It's beautiful.
There we go. Hang on just one second. All right, so you will notice you're seeing my entire screen, including my taskbar.
No.
And so with my taskbar, you can see down here at the bottom that I have Premiere
Right.
in the taskbar. Anytime I install software for people, I put their Premiere down there. I'm going to guess that not everybody has it there because that's not something that you would necessarily know to do. So in order to start Premiere +2 embroidery, you may have an icon that looks like this on your desktop, or you may have to go to your start menu and roll your way down to Premiere, which would be right here. And then you would click the drop down arrow next to it, and it would show you all of the different pieces and parts of Premiere. One of the reasons I wanted to show you this, your guides are here, which means you have reference manuals. There's a learning center that you can click on to go off to other places. Premiere +2 configure, very important piece of the Premiere software. For Joe and Barb, your Premiere is going to live in your Launchpad, meaning that if you go to Launchpad, you will find Premiere +2. You'll also find Configure, which is the little tools, and some of the different modules of Premiere. Premiere +2 embroidery sits here. The Purchase Center, because of course we want to allow you to purchase things if you own it, and the README file. The README file, I always thought, you know, that's on a lot of things. I'm like, who cares? Who's going to read me? Well, anytime there's an update in the README file, it'll tell you what they added. So sometimes they add like a new sample embroidery for one of our samples or something. So it is helpful after an update to look at that. Okay, so if you would like to have your Premiere and your Configure in your taskbar, if you go to your start menu, and again, I'm going to release your screen because I know right now you're watching me, so don't fight the screen right now. You would right click on Premiere +2 embroidery, and you can pin it to the taskbar. Because I already have it pinned, it's not going to let me, but that's how you can pin to the taskbar and have it down there. So the very first thing I want to show you is Configure, and I'm going to bring that up. So I have double clicked on Configure, and I want to show you a couple of things that are important for today. We're going to do a lot more with Configure as we work through the various lessons, but for today, the Smart Update, which is the light bulb, is something that you're going to want to do once a month or so. Sometimes you'll get a notice that says there's a smart update available, and you'll want to click on that. This is the same in the Mac. When you launch Premiere +2 Configure, this screen will show up for you. If you look up here at the top, we're on the Utilities tab right now, and that's where Smart Update lives. When you click that, and I'm not going to do it right now because it would want to take me to that website, you'll put your password in for Premiere, and then you will walk through and do the smart updates. The second piece that is incredibly important on this particular window that I want you to do right away once you're out of class today is on the Appearance tab. I'm going to click the Appearance tab. And notice it's showing me what my screen is going to look like. The real important piece of this is the measurements. Does everybody see my little ruler right here?
Mhm.
Because all of our screens are different. Your little ruler may or may not be 52 millimeters. You're going to want to get a ruler that has millimeters on it, measure that, and enter it into this box. What that will do for you is then when you print out a template of a design, it'll print in real size. So if I'm trying to put an embroidery, say, of my name on a shirt, I can print that out, put it on the shirt, get it hooped the way I want it to, and it's going to show me the exact size and I can tell where I'm going to put it. So the appearance is the most important piece, in my opinion, of Configure in the measurements. So you'll want to measure that. It's tricky to measure your screen because a lot of you have touch screens now. So you kind of have to be able to hold that up there and get it just right. Okay. Do I have
Gotta let the dog out.
Oh, okay. Do I have any questions so far? Okay. I'm going to close Configure simply by hitting cancel. And I'm going to bring up Premiere Plus 2 embroidery.
Hey,
And
Libby, I have a question.
Sure.
When you showed where the guide was,
yes.
I want to try to find that on my computer so I can see that because I wanted to print that guide.
So the guides are on the start menu down here on my little Windows Start.
Okay.
And I click there, and then I scroll down to Premiere Plus 2 embroidery. That's all alphabetical. So we're going to go to Premiere, and I'm going to click the little drop down arrow next to Premiere. And the guides are the very first thing.
Okay.
See them?
Yeah.
And if I double click that, it'll show me my reference guides, my sample guides, and my user guides. And they're the reference manuals. I'm going to double click that for just a second. There is a reference manual for every module of Premiere. Okay. So it's the card shop, configure, create, cross stitch, design aligner. They're all in there.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now I have Premiere Plus 2 open. Everybody doing okay so far? Okay. So on the handouts that I gave you, I had that smart update circled. It was page 1 under configure so that you know how to find that again. And the appearance tab, again, I highlighted that little ruler so that you remember to measure that and put it in. And some of you may, if you're new to embroidery, you may be thinking, quilters work in inches. They don't work in millimeters. And that is very true. We quilt in inches, but we embroider in millimeters. And the reason for that is because we can be so precise with where we place things in millimeters. And our embroidery system will show us where, if we hover over the millimeter measurements, it'll show it to us in inches. So we can see it both ways, but the millimeters is far, far, far more precise. Okay, so I have opened Premiere Plus 2, and I'm going to stop my screen share because, where'd it go? Come back here, Mr. Screen Share. Sorry, this is just a little bit different here than it is at home. There it is, than it is at home. So I'm going to stop for a moment, and I want you all to go ahead and open Premiere Plus 2 on the Macs and on the PCs so that you can see the same screen I just had up.
Configure?
No, not configure. Let's do the P plus, Premiere Plus.
Oh.
Double click. I believe it's a double click on the Mac.
Create?
Not create. Premiere Plus 2 embroidery.
There it is.
Did you find it?
Got it.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. And if I had been smart enough to bring my sheet with me that I sent to Joe, and I don't think I brought it, the parts of the software window, that would have really helped me help you. So,
Libby, can you hear me?
yes.
Since, you know, my whole system is different, I think I'm gonna go ahead and go, and that way you won't have to worry about, you know, trying to teach 2 different groups here. And then, you know, when you go ahead and make a video or whatever, then, you know, I can use that. I think it'll be easier for you.
Okay.
I appreciate, you know, you accommodating you know, the Mac people, but I think it'll just be easier. So I'll say goodbye and
Okay.
thanks so much and have a great day.
Thanks, Joe. We'll get that information out to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Am I the only Mac now?
You are, and I have taught both operating systems in the same class for a very long time, but only when we've been in the same building where I could go and help. So sometimes I can't show both screens here because I can't disconnect and reconnect on Zoom. So you are the only, you are unique, Barb. Are you feeling special?
No. So you will be making a video of the Mac program.
Yes, doing exactly what I'm doing right now for the PC users, and I'm gonna record that as a video to get out to you so that I will take you on a tour of your operating system.
Okay, when will that be? Give me like an idea.
I should have that done by the end of the week. I'm
Okay.
teaching all day today, and I'm working in our business all day tomorrow. So I'm thinking Thursday I should be able to get that made.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
drop out too. That way it's less confusing for everybody.
Okay, you're gonna stop taxing my brain. I'm like, okay, where is that on the Mac? All right, very good. We'll get all the information to you. All right, Barb?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
How do I get out?
How do I get out? There should be an end button down in the bottom right-hand corner of the Zoom screen.
Bottom right hand.
Start moving your mouse around. I believe it'll be at the bottom, or you can always go up to the upper left-hand corner and close with the red dot.
Okay, I'll do that.
That'll work.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, ladies, did you get your Premiere Plus open on your screens? She's still here. She hasn't closed Zoom yet. I think she closed Configure and/or Premiere. There we go. She got out. Everybody get Premiere open? You can see what you have? Okay, excellent. I'm going to share my screen again in just a moment, but for now, let's just kind of take a little bit of a tour as you look. And in your packet, the second to last page, I gave you a handout. I don't know if you can still see me or not, that says parts of the software window. I have people who have laminated this and kept it next to their system until they really learn where everything is. So if we look at that sheet and we look at our screen at the same time, you'll notice that the quick access toolbar is up at the tippy top. Those are itsy bitsy teeny tiny little icons that right now most of them are grayed out because we don't have a design on the screen. But they're up there and they are quick links to things. There are other ways to access each and every one of those items as well. And I always tell people in class, we can all get in our cars and decide we're going to drive to Indiana, and we can all take a different road, but we'll all get there. So some of us are more comfortable on the highway, some of us are more comfortable on the byways. So I want you to know that you have access in multiple ways, but once you find a way that really works for you, I have no issue with you using that. Now in a class, I'm going to show you multiple ways to get there, and you may go, don't confuse me. Well, it just depends on how your brain works, which of the methods will work for you. So I will show you multiple ways. So the quick access toolbar is up there. There is then ribbon bar tabs, and there are tabs all the way across the top of that screen. File, Home, Wizards, Encore, Letter, Super Design, Frame, Border, Applique, Decoration, Modify, View, and Help. Those are tabs, okay? Just below the tabs are what we call the ribbon bar. And there is so much information on that ribbon bar and so many ways to access things that it probably looks overwhelming right now. It's not, I promise. You'll be fine. The title bar is up there. Right now, your title bar, it's right next to those little quick access icons. It says Untitled, Premiere Plus to Embroidery Ultra, meaning we haven't named anything yet. and we don't have a design on the screen. Right now it is unnamed, just like a Word document. When you start typing it, it's an unnamed document. It's untitled until you save it, right? So that's what that means up there. Now, in the center of the screen, you see a hoop and you see a grid, right? That is what we call the work area, okay? And down in the bottom left is our status bar. And there are, again, teeny tiny little bitty icons down there. And that is our access to all of the different modules of Premiere. We are in the embroidery module right now, but down there looking across the bottom, there's the card shop, the little scissors or modify. I forget what the other little, if you hover over those, I believe it'll tell you, mine's not doing it right now. It might be because I'm online, but a lot of times if you hover, it'll tell you what the modules are, okay? And then over on the right-hand side is the design panel. And the design panel is just chock full of information when there's a design on the screen, okay? So I am going to share my screen again so that I can point some things out. And do a share. So now you should be seeing my screen. And again, we've kind of talked about all the different things that are across the top. If you click on a tab, for instance, if I click on my file tab, you'll see I have the opportunity to open a new file, meaning it would take away whatever was on the screen. Or I forget who told me they were a 5D owner in the past. You can open a new window, Marty, meaning you can have multiple windows of Premiere open, which is a game changer because you can be working on several different designs and then actually copy and put them together, which is delightful.
Libby, excuse
yeah.
me, Libby, do you have it on shared screen now with the grid?
I clicked on the file menu, so it's showing you all the drop downs. So I don't have a grid right now. If I go back to home, I should have a grid. Do you see it?
Okay, yes.
Okay. So this is the file tab that I've clicked on, Mary.
Okay, thank you.
What is underneath there?
Yeah, all kinds of things.
Yes. New window, open, save as, export applique pieces, send to my SewNet. Those of you who have icons, you can send to SewNet. You can also send directly to your machine without using a USB or a cord, which is kind of handy. You can insert a design. Rather than opening a new window, you can insert a second design into the design window. So then you can have two designs. Somebody said, I really want to know how to put it together and make it happen. Well, this is how we can do that. The Home tab gives us the ribbon bar, which we're gonna do some things in the ribbon bar today. We've got copy, paste, cut, duplicate, delete, different select options. If you look at the ribbon bar, you'll see this is my clipboard area, meaning just like in Word, I can copy, paste, cut, that sort of thing. When you copy something in Word, it says it's on your clipboard until you get it to the next location. This is your clipboard. Right here is our select option, meaning that we can pick different areas of the work area once we have a design on there. Then we have some tools. We have layout. We can change our hoop here. This is kind of interesting. We have change hoop here. We also have change hoop up here in the little quick access. The nice thing about it being up here is sometimes when we're in a different tab, this won't be here. But so you have to go back to home to change the hoop. Well, you really don't. You can go right there and change the hoop at any time. If I click on the Wizards tab, we have wizards within the software that will help us create things. There's a monogram wizard, makes it super simple. Pick your template, add your letters, you have a monogram. You have an endless wizard, meaning that we can turn an embroidery into an endless design to go all the way around a tablecloth, and it'll give us the placement points every time we move the fabric in the hoop. We've got express design, meaning I can take a photograph and turn it into stitches, or I can take a piece of artwork and turn it into stitches. The software will do that for me, and it'll do what it does. With the create module, we can pick and choose how we want that to happen, which is down here at the bottom. But express design is an excellent way to create stitches for a logo or something like that. Photo stitch, we can turn photos into embroideries. Word sculpt, I can take the shape of a coffee cup and add every word there is about coffee, Java, Joe, all those things, and it'll arrange it in the cup for me. So we can take shapes and do word art. We can create quilt blocks. So we can actually do quilt as you go, where you do your embroidery and then you do the quilting around it with the quilt block, which is really cool. And we have all different kinds of fills that we can do. It's amazing. You can create a family tree. You can do a project in the hoop, and a project in the hoop means when I'm done, it's done, right? So in other words, I'm going to create my entire project in the hoop. This little box that I have, zippered box, is an in the hoop project that was created in embroidery. Okay, this entire thing was stitched in the hoop with the exception of the 4 corners. I did have to turn it wrong side out and stitch an angle across those, but we put the zipper in the hoop. The whole thing was done in the hoop, and that is one of the projects we'll do in software down the road in Software Club. And then we have split projects. Sometimes you have something that is enormous that you want in the center of a tablecloth or whatever. It won't fit any hoop that you own, so you can split it apart so that and it'll give you reference marks so you can stitch the whole thing out. So that's the Wizards tab. Encore, we're going to play with today. This allows us to repeat a design in a variety of ways, and that's how I did the little towel with the little flower. That is an Encore design. It does the spacing for me very, very exactly. I don't have to work so hard to put things where they need to go. Lettering, I think somebody's super interested in lettering because they do quilt labels. Was that Marty too? I believe Marty's. I thought so. You moved when the other 2 dove out. I knew it was the person that was over on my left-hand screen. So with the lettering, we have, this does this to me every once, it's my system. Come on. Quit fighting with me. Okay, there we go. We have this huge gallery of fonts. And it's unbelievable how many are in there that you can use, and they're right at your fingertips. For anyone new to software, if you have purchased fonts, you know that when you take fonts off of a purchase design, you have to put the letters in one at a time and line them up. Not anymore. You'll type the word and it'll put it on the screen for you. And we can import those purchase fonts to be part of this gallery so that we can use those in the same way that we're going to use these fonts. Super designs. Super designs are amazing. These are all embroidery designs that you now own because you purchased Premier. There are all different categories. We have animals, dinosaurs, fish, live animals. You can tell that's kind of red work. All these little applique designs are here for different holidays for children, that sort of thing. We've got borders, we've got buttonholes, we've got cartoons, we have faces, we have celebrations. And just kind of scroll, I'm going to let you guys scroll down through here too. But as you can see, these are all digitized designs that you own because you own Ultra. Okay. So before you go buy that next design CD, you want to do some scampering through your software and see if you already own what you want, because you might. Okay.
Libby. Hey, Libby, this is Dawn. I have a question. Is it possible to print off that whole font card?
The fonts, I believe, are listed in the reference guide where you could print out there, I believe those sheets are there in the reference guide. Let me make a note of that. Because I'm sure I had it printed out way back when I had the, when I had 3D, 4D, or 5D or something, and I'm pretty sure that there are sample sheets of that. I'll try to find that for you. Okay. Frames. We have a variety of different frames and flourishes that we can add. We can add borders to things with satin stitches, motif stitches, running stitches, all sorts of things. Appliques. We can create our own appliques, which is very fun. There's actually an applique border where we can go to town and create appliques. There's a decoration tab, meaning if you want to put some bling on your design, you can actually place them in the design, and then it'll put a little crosshair stitch there if you want it to, so you know where you want your bling to be. The modify tab, whoops, we have to have a design selected. That allows us to make some changes. The view tab, I can show or not show the grid. Every once in a while, when you're really designing something intricate, you want that grid out of your way. You don't want to see it, so I can turn it off. I can also change the spacing on the grid. If I'm trying to do something super, super precise, I might want to make it a little smaller. Right now, the grid, these lines are 10 millimeters apart, okay? But I can change that if I want to. Notice when I hover over the 10 millimeters, it tells me it's 0.39 inches, okay? So if I'm a person who goes, I have no idea what 10 millimeters are, I can hover and know that it's a little bit less than a half an inch, okay? I can change views and do all sorts of things. And last but not least, over here is our help panel, where we can go in and get help with what we're looking at, okay? So, questions so far? No? All right.
Libby, I have a question.
Yes.
When you were in designs, I didn't get all the extra designs you showed.
Interesting. Lynn, have you done a smart update?
Maybe not.
Okay. So this is, I'm really, really glad that you mentioned that. Hang on just one second. I need to get my share screen option back for me. I'm going to do a stop share. So Lynn's question was, when she goes into the super design, she does not have them all. And the super designs are added when you do a smart update. Some of them are on the USB stick that you have, or when you install your software, but the smart update actually adds all the rest. And if you have Ultra, you should have everything that I have.
Okay.
Okay, and I believe all of the new owners do have Ultra because that's what we were selling at half price here in the shop. The mid-level doesn't have them all. You see them, but they're gray. And so it's, you know, if you want all of them, you have to be an Ultra owner. Okay, any other questions on that? Yes.
Not on that, but at the beginning, I missed the part where you said you want to copy this and keep it on one of the files or something. You were telling us you want to have that.
Oh, you may want to hang on to, this is the second to last page.
Okay, got it.
Handouts that I sent you. You may want to hang on to this because I think it's helpful to see. Sometimes somebody told me they kept it right next to their computer for a while because they just couldn't. There it is. There it is.
So just laminate it.
Yes, the other thing I included was your common hoop sizes, because our outstanding and amazing embroidery class teacher here at Quilt Beginnings speaks inches, known as Pam Churches. And I speak millimeters. So we do not, we have a terrible time working with that, because when you're digitizing, you really want to be working in millimeters, and when you're working in the software. So I was like, I don't know what size a 10 by 10 is. So I printed out the some common sizes for you to hang on to depending on your machine.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
You mentioned that there's a software club. Can you?
Yes, you're in it.
Okay, so is there one after the beginner basic one that you sign up?
Yes, we had a, what happened, Jean, is we've had a software club going for 2.5 years.
Mhm.
And when people got the software, they would jump into software club, and people were at very, very, very different levels. And so it got to the point where some of the people who joined midway, like Donna said, she jumped in the middle. She felt like she hadn't gotten some of this early stuff. So she felt that she needed to go back and learn some of that. So somebody must have left. There you are. My whole screen just changed.
Okay.
So yes, this is the basics club right now. So we have started this. We've got our first quarter scheduled, and it will continue on. I have tons of projects. Yeah, thanks for
Good.
asking.
Thank you.
For asking. And I would guess we'll pick back up with the club that's been going as well. This first quarter, we're just trying to figure out what can we do with COVID and all that kind of
Right.
nonsense.
Good.
Okay. All right, I'm going to share screen again, and I am on page 3 of your handout. And we're going to do a little bit of design work here so that you get a chance to actually do some playing. I'm going to do a few steps, and then I'm going to give you back your screen and let you do a few steps. So the very first thing we're going to do, and I did not reset my modules. I'm going to guess that your hoop is not at 150 by 150. So I'm going to do these steps, even though mine's already there, because I, of course, went through the lesson last night and didn't reset it. So I'm going to click on my change hoop, which is right here in my ribbon bar. And in my change hoop window, I have hoop groups, and a lot of the different machines are listed. So you can actually pick your particular machine and then pick the hoop that you own. Always, always, always in class, I will ask you to pick universal and then choose the hoop size that we're using so that we all see the exact same thing on the screen. So I'm choosing the universal hoop group, and I am going to use the 150 by 150 millimeter square hoop. Notice it says orientation, natural or rotated. The reason for this is, and with a square hoop, it really doesn't matter usually. But the reason for this, let me choose a different hoop just to show you. The 240 by 150 hoop is a pretty standard hoop that a lot of the machines have. Notice right now it's vertical, right? So it's in the natural position. It's in the position that it would go into the machine, which is lovely. However, if I want to do words on here or some sort of a design that is in like the landscape position, I would want to pick rotated so that I could work not sideways. I don't want to be looking at my screen trying to type in my letters sideways. So that's your natural versus your rotated position. I'm going to go back to natural, and I'm going to go back to the 150 by 150 because I know that's the size I want to do. The 150 by 150, do I seriously not have that on this list? Lovely. It's about a 6 by 6, I believe.
Now, Libby, excuse me, with when you went back to the hoops, I don't think it has the 790 listed as the hoops available, does it?
Let me just go back since I've got Bernina users. Let me come down here and go to my Bernina 790. Correct? I'm going to choose the Bernina 790. Then I would choose in my drop down, there are my Bernina hoops that are available. Okay. So let's say that we're going to design today in the 150 by 150 universal hoop. And Marty, you know that you don't own a square hoop because Berninas are ovals no matter what. You know that you need to choose a hoop for today's project that is larger than the 150 by 150 because we can always stitch out a smaller design in a bigger hoop. So the large oval won't work for today unless we change the size of the design because it's only 145 millimeters wide, okay? Whereas the 265, the mid hoop by 165 will accommodate today's design.
Okay.
Great question. Thank you for asking that. Okay. So again, I like to use universal in class just so we're all seeing the same thing, but I certainly want to make sure you know how to use what you have at home as well. Okay, so I'm in the 150 by 150 hoop, natural orientation. I am now going, I probably better let you guys do that. So let's go ahead and get your hoop changed. Stop share. There you go. So you're going to go up to your ribbon bar where it says change hoop over toward the right-hand side, or you're going to use the quick access hoop up at the tippy top. Either one works. And click on change hoop. Universal is the second hoop group, so it's way up at the tippy top of the groups. And then you're going to choose the 150 by 150. I believe it will default to natural if you haven't been playing. And then you'll say okay. And once you've got it, the thumbs up will let me know that you're good to go.
And that was the kind of 6 by 6 inch. 'Cause I guess I've done mine into inches.
Are you in inches? Ah, yes.
And, well, I can go through and configure it.
Yeah. Okay, we
Hey,
good?
Libby,
Yes.
it's, hoop, square hoop number 2, what does that mean? I
It's
went down,
just the way they've labeled it. 150 by 150 is a universal square hoop too.
okay.
I'm not sure what designer decided they had to put that on their software designer. Okay, can I share my screen again? We good?
Where do I find configure to go back and change?
Okay, you're gonna need to close Premiere. So go ahead and hit the X up in the upper right-hand corner.
Okay.
Now click on your Windows Start.
All right.
Down in the bottom left-hand corner. Scroll your way to Premiere Plus 2.
All right, I see. All right.
And then click on Configure.
Configure, and do I restore my settings?
You want to reset all modules, bottom left-hand corner, and then you'll be the same as all of us. And it should say all modules reset, and then you'll reopen Premiere.
Libby, I'm going to be leaving, but my thing is still on recording. I've got to go to my doctor's appointment.
Okay, good to see you, Donna. Did you get it to work, Marty?
Well, I had gotten into a couple of things. Because all modules will be closed and reset to their default setting.
Yes.
Please confirm that all modules are closed. I guess I got one open there. Cancel. All right, that should work. Well, you can go ahead and go on. I'll find it.
Look down there in your taskbar, Marty. Do you have a blue line under the P plus right now? Does it look like it's active?
I've got the Premiere to configure. There's a blue line. Oh, there's the Premiere. Okay.
Right click that and click close and then do your configure.
You want to continue? I'll put no on that. Maybe that was my problem. All right. You can go ahead. I'll figure that out after a while. It'll be all right.
I'm going to share screen because I think you'll, and truly go ahead and reopen your Premiere because do the 6 by 6. The hoop isn't that important today and we'll get you reconfigured before the end of class. Okay.
Yeah.
How do we reset all our modules again?
Okay, let me share my screen. I'll show you. I should have done it at the beginning. I forgot I had some, I figured I had lots of newbies and that you guys wouldn't have played in your settings. Boy, was I silly. Okay, can you see my configure up on my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, so we go into configure, which is our tools. It's down here at the bottom for me. I've got it in my taskbar, or we can go to start Premiere Plus, and reset all modules is right here. And
Okay,
when I
cool.
click on that, it says all modules will be closed and reset to their default settings. If I say okay, it's going to close my Premiere and it'll reset everything to the default settings, which is what we want. Okay.
I couldn't remember how to do that, so.
The other way that you can change that, if that is not working for you, Marty, is we can go to the, can I do it here? Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I think that, oh, yeah, right here. Show measurements in, and you can choose millimeters, even while you're up and running. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go into Super Design and choose our flower. Okay, so I'm going to go to my Super Design tab. And this will happen to you every once in a while. I'm going to click right here next to category. Right now it says all. There's a drop down arrow next to all. And so if I know I'm looking for something kind of specific, like I know I want flowers, or I know I want cartoons, or I want celebrations because I'm looking for something Christmas or birthday or whatever, I can choose just that category: food and drink, hearts, holidays, all sorts of different categories. So I can look at them either all or by category. And every once in a while, you'll forget that you've got some sort of category selected, and you'll click the drop down area here, arrow next to the viewer, and you'll go, oh, holy smokes, what happened to all of my super designs? They're not there. Well, the category that you have selected is here, but not all of them. So if you want to see all, you need to click on all, and then click the drop down viewer. And then you can roll through and see all of the different super designs. They are alphabetical by category. So we've got corners, felting needles, twin needles, wing needles. Now that kind of almost sounds like it makes a liar out of me, because all of a sudden we get a W and we go back to F, but those are all needle kinds, different kinds of needles and stuff. So it is sort of alphabetical by category. It is by the categories that the guy that designed it put it in. How's that? All right, so we want to go to flowers. So I'm actually gonna, I see it here. I've got several different flowers, but I'm gonna choose the category flowers and leaves. And then I'm gonna click my drop down arrow, and there are all the different flowers. Okay, we've got flowers 1, flowers 2, 3, leaves 1, roses 1. We are gonna use flowers, under flowers 3, the second flower. That's our little purple flower. So I'm going to click on that, and notice now it is highlighted in the viewer. People lose their minds because it didn't go on the screen, but we haven't told it everything we want to tell it just yet. Okay. This flower is at 90 millimeters, which if I hover says it's 3.5 inches tall. That's way too big for my little towel, for my encore. So I'm going to change it to 35 millimeters. So I'm going to click into that box. It turns blue. Now I can type in 35, and that makes it 35 millimeters. Now let's just say that, whoops, sorry. That's 1.38 inches tall. So I can tell now that that's a smaller size, all right? If I knew I wanted this to be 1 inch and I was dead set certain it needed to be 1 inch in order to go where I want it to go, I can type in a 1, and then I can type in the quotation mark, which is also the inch mark on my keyboard, and it will convert it to 25 millimeters for me. So I can enter, if I'm working in millimeters, I put the number in of millimeters, or if I know I want a certain inch size, I can put in that with the quote mark, or the inch mark. That isn't in your instructions. That's a bonus. So you do want to jot that down. I see everybody going for their paper. Okay, so I'm going to say 35 millimeters. And I'm going to, I think those are all of my settings, and I'm going to say apply. When I click on the right apply, it says take the information I gave you and put it on my screen. Okay, so now I have a flower in the center of my screen. Okay, so let's let you guys do that.
That part, okay.
You don't get off so easy as just watching. You got to do it. So you're going to go to the Super Design tab. Okay. Which is up there. And then you're going to choose the category flowers and leaves by clicking on the little drop down arrow next to category.
How do I get back to my screen to be able to do that? Or are we doing it in the shared screen?
No, you should be able to minimize the Zoom people and kind of drag that off to the side, and then you should have your screen up unless you don't have Premiere open. Do you have Premiere open, Mary?
I did have.
You should have a P plus down in your
Yes, ma'am.
bar.
Yep.
Click on it. There you go.
Is that left mouse or right mouse?
Left.
Okay, got it.
Yay, Super Design.
Got it. And then flowers.
Yep.
Got it. Okay, just a second.
Your drop down arrow next to the gallery of flowers to the right.
Well,
of all
it's
flowers.
not showing anything except for the horse, the animals right now. It says search. Oh, there it is down at the bottom here. Got it. Okay.
Find the flower.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Highlight
And
it.
it's the flower is the second one over, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then I put that where?
Don't do anything with it yet. Keep taking your eyes across the ribbon bar and change your size to 35 millimeters. So click into the size box and type in 35.
Okay.
And then click apply, and it'll be on your screen.
Okay, and it looks like a daisy or something. Not a daisy, but a
tulip, maybe a tulip, a multi. I'm not sure what it is.
It's
Cute
not
little
a
flower.
tulip. It's something else. The third flower over looks like a tulip.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I don't know. I just thought it was cute. So.
Oh, okay. So are we
You can do
using
any
the
flower you want.
Okay, I'll use this one since I got it.
So you can be the same, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to share my screen again and point a few things out to you all. Okay, so we've got this flower in the center of the screen. I want you to notice that there is a box around it, and there are what we call handles at each corner. And those handles are square. Square handles mean I'm inside the hoop and it's stitchable, okay? If I were to sit this guy outside of the hoop, what happened to my handles? They turned into circles saying, you can't stitch me because I am not inside the hoop. You'll break a needle because you will hit your hoop, okay? So when the handles are square, it means you're inside the hoop. These handles are green because they're super designs. And what that means is they've been digitized in such a way that if I change the size, it'll automatically adjust the stitch count for me, which is awesome. So I can make it as big or as small as I want, and it will change the number of stitches. This is particularly important when you make things smaller, because if you make something smaller and you don't adjust the stitch count, you end up with a bulletproof patch and you break needles. Okay, so while we're sitting here looking at this flower, I want you to look over here at my design panel. The design panel has given me some information about the flower that is on my screen. There are 2,013 stitches in the flower. There are 4 colors, and it is 23.7 millimeters, or my cursor's over top of that, 0.933 inches wide and 1.378 inches tall. Okay, so
where was that at? Excuse me, where was that at?
You see it? you see my cursor? The design panel over here on the side? Do you see my screen right now, Mary, or not?
Yep, yep, you've
Okay.
got a gold flower.
Oh, let me show you why that happened. I was moving my cursor around. Okay, so sometimes you look at your design and you go, there's two greens, but I really can't tell which is which. If I hover over the first screen, it changed the color in the flower. See how there's some blue in there now? That's because I'm sitting on the first screen. If I move to
Okay.
the second one, it
Got it.
turns it yellow. When I
Okay,
was sitting on the purple, it turned the flower yellow. So it shows you where the thread's going to be used simply by letting your cursor sit over the color. Not extremely important on a small design like this, but sometimes I did a set of Anita Good Design pillow tiles, and there were 87 thread changes per pillow. So sometimes I didn't know where I was headed with the thread, and I needed to look and see. Okay, so we've got our flower in the center of the screen. We've talked about the information that is over here on the side, telling us things about it. Let me see. Oh, I skipped page 4. I was like, what happened to page 4? And so I'm moving on to page 4. And now I want to turn this into an encore design, meaning I want to have it repeat and in a circle for on my towel. So I'm now going to go to the encore tab. Okay, I'm clicking on that. Notice when I clicked on the encore tab, my ribbon bar changed. In other words, all of this information changed because now I need to tell it what I want to do when I get ready to encore this. So I apologize for my crude red lines trying to point to all the different icons that you need on the paper. But I was like, okay, I really want them to be able to see this. How can I make it happen? So that's why I drew lines. So the very first thing is we want to make sure the circle is highlighted. If I put my cursor over it, it says place the selected embroideries in a circle, which is what I'm going to want to do. I have 3 other options. I could place them in a shape. I'm hovering over the shapes. I can place the selected embroideries in one of 8 different line options if I choose line. I can also encore around the hoop. And sometimes that's really helpful because I really want it to be around the edge of the hoop. We're going to do a circle. The next area in layout is, do I want my designs to be standard? Are all of my golf pennants going to go in the same direction? Or do I want them to alternate? Every other one is going to be going a different direction. So there's a lot, you have a lot of control over the encore. Okay. These are line options. If we had chosen line, we didn't. We're on a circle, so those are grayed out right now. We're not able to change the line option because we're doing a circle, and here again are the shapes if we were going to do that. Okay, so coming over a little bit further, how many times do we want the flower to show up? I think 6 would be a little sparse. I'm going to change it to 8. Okay, so I'm going to have 8 flowers when I'm done. I want them to be grouped. In other words, I want them to kind of hang together as a group. So I'm leaving that check mark there. It is the default. There are times you don't want that. So once you've made your selections, and ours are circle, repeats 8, group, I'm going to click on preview, which is going to allow me to see what I've asked for. So there are my 8 flowers in a circle. Okay.
Looks good.
Cool, huh?
Yeah.
All right. No, I'm going to show you one more thing. I was going to stop, but I'm going to show you one more thing. Notice, can everybody see that my cursor is an arrow right now?
Yeah.
If I come inside the circle, it changes to a plus, meaning I now have control over that circle. So if I hold down my left mouse button, I can make it smaller by dragging in, or I can make it larger by dragging my mouse out. So I'm going to drag it so that it fills the hoop, but is not outside of the grid. Can everybody see that I'm still just slightly inside the grid and I'm gonna let go? Okay, I'm happy with the size of that. So now I'm going to click apply, meaning do it. Notice my design panel just changed and I see all my colors over there, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. So when I clicked apply, it became a design. Until then, I was still just playing. All right, so now I want you guys to do that.
Okay, let's see.
So you're sitting on the screen with your little flower. You're going to go to the Encore tab up at the top. It goes File, Home, Wizards, Encore. Okay.
Group.
You want the circle to be selected. It should be, unless y'all been playing. We're on page 4 of the handout if you're trying to find that. We're going to change our repeats to 8. We're going to leave our group check marked, and you're going to click preview. Once you've done that, you've got a kind of a small circle. You're going to take your cursor until it's inside of the 2 rings. It'll turn into a plus. Hold down your left mouse button and pull that circle out until it's still inside the grid, but almost as big as the hoop.
Okay, I do not have the circle, and I've got the circle highlighted.
Okay, so the circle's highlighted. Have you gone over and said repeats 8 yet in the ribbon bar?
I'm looking for the repeat. I've got home, wizard, encore, letter, super design, frame,
Drop your
border.
eyes down a little bit, Mary, to the ribbon bar rather than the tabs. Or
Okay.
follow those tabs all the way over to help and look just under it. And the repeats are right there.
Premier create.
No, stay up top, stay up top. Go to the
Okay.
wide part of the bar.
I've got layout, line options, share options, hoop options, number of repeats.
There you go.
Number of repeats. It's
Change
not
that to
do.
8.
Okay, it's not doing anything. Repeat 6. Okay, I got that.
Change it to 8.
Change it to 8.
Yep, you can use the up arrow, click twice next
Got
to
it.
the white box. There you go.
Okay.
And then click on preview.
Preview. And where is the preview at?
Just a
I've got-
little bit further over from the repeats. Keep going.
Okay.
Looks like an eyeball, kind of.
Got it. There
Okay.
you go.
Got a circle?
Yep.
Hey, now slide your cursor in between the 2 rings. And
Okay.
it turns into a plus.
Right.
Now use your left mouse button, hold it down, and drag that circle just a little bit bigger so it's still inside the grid, but larger than it is.
Yeah, it's moving slowly. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, and then you're going to click the green apply button that is all the way to the right on that ribbon.
Got
bar.
it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody got it?
Now I've got a purple flower in the middle. Is that supposed to be there?
No.
I don't know how I got it. I tried to click on it, but it wouldn't click. Maybe I needed to delete it and try it again.
You have a flower in the center of your screen, right?
Yes,
Do you have a circle too, or just a flower?
I've got the 8 circle, plus I have a purple one right in the middle.
Okay. Everybody else, cover your ears for just a moment. Tell me what you see around the flower that's in the center. Are there the little green squares at the corner or no?
Well, I might have hit apply already.
That's okay. That's okay. So do you see orange squares around the circle of flowers? You see orange squares at your corners?
Nope, I don't have any. When I go into the circle, I get a little black plus sign.
Oh, okay. You haven't applied yet. You're all right,
Oh,
I
so
think.
need to apply it then, huh?
Yes.
All right. But I still have that purple one in the middle.
Okay. Does it have a square around it, or is it just sitting there looking lonely?
It's just sitting there with a little yellow circle for the center of the design.
But there's no box around that
No.
individual flower?
No
Press
box.
the tab key on your keyboard.
Tab key. All right. Oh, now I got a
You have a
box.
box around that now?
Yes.
Okay. Again, everybody else, don't listen. Click on your home tab,
Home tab.
up tippy top, right next to file. Click home.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then do you see right underneath there a red delete, a red X for delete?
Yes. So then
Click that. That'll get rid of that flower that's in the middle, but it should leave your box.
let's see.
I mean, it should leave your circle of 8.
Oops. Okay. I got rid of it. Okay.
Did that work? Yay!
Yep, that worked. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's half the fun of teaching. It's like, okay, what did she do and how did she
Yeah.
get there? How do I get
out of it?
it?
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. And notice now, when we look at this, we can see the faint little green boxes around the flowers. Remember, we had green ones originally. We have faint ones now because we have an orange handled box around the whole group. And the orange says, this is a group, okay? This is a group of individual designs. Remember, we had our little individual purple flower. We've turned it into a group of flowers, and each one has its box around it, but the big group has the orange handles, meaning I am a group. Notice my design panel has changed. I now have 16,104 stitches, and I have 32 colors. Well, isn't that delightful? Who wants to change their thread 32 times? Not me, okay? And we know there really were only 4 colors in that design. So we can combine our colors and say, no, 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 stitch out all the greens, then stitch out all the dark greens, then stitch out the purple, and then stitch out the dark purple. And we're gonna look at how to do that a little bit later on. Yes, Mary.
Okay. Okay, I was just wondering where are the colors at because I'm not seeing those. I've got the flowers up and it's got
My
the
screen?
orange. Pardon?
Are you seeing my screen right now or your screen?
It's yours.
Okay.
I need to move my picture bar over to the left a little bit so I could see the colors.
Yeah, I'm probably under, the colors are probably under the faces.
Colors
So you
or what?
drag your faces out of the way. Our Zoom faces are maybe in your way. Can you minimize that so you can see the colors, the design panel? Are you seeing all of us instead of the colors, Mary, over on the right
Oh,
hand?
I'm sorry. Yes, I could see y'all, but I'm not seeing the colors.
Okay.
Maybe it's, hold on.
See if you
There, I've got the colors now. I got
awesome.
them.
Yay.
I was
Part
like,
of today's
oh
class is
God, where am I at?
learning how to do. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I told you I'm the problem child.
You are not the problem child. Believe me, when we first started the original software club, our very first class, I did the easiest project ever, even though people were experienced, because we had to learn how to use Zoom and be able to navigate going from my screen to your screen, getting the faces over to the side. You know, I've got all of you up on a separate screen so I can see whether or not you're confused or not confused, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I am sharing right now, aren't I? Yes. Okay. I'm trying to remember where I was. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do before we collapse this into just 4 colors is we're going to go to the letter tab. So the letter tab is right up here next to Encore, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Then I'm going to let you do it. So I am the middle of page 4, and I'm clicking on my letter tab, and I am going to use the Valentina font, which is one of the script fonts. So my font window comes up and I'm going to click on the drop down arrow next to it, which will give me the gallery. So I know I'm looking for the script font. And again, these are alphabetical by category. So I'm going to scroll down until I get to script. There's monogram, there's my fonts, there's nearest point, scary, script. Here's script. Okay, and Valentina is down here. Now there are two Valentina fonts. One is 08 to 15 millimeters and the other one is 12 to 40 millimeters. When we do lettering, we want to try to pick a font that has the size range that we want because it's complex, the stitches for lettering. So you try not to change the size outside of what it's capable of. So I'm going to use the 12 to 40 millimeter font. So I'm going to click on that. Notice that's what's now in my font viewer here. I'm using the Valentina 12 to 40. And then see this letter box right here? This white box. This is delightful for any of you who have been using purchased fonts because you've been plucking those fonts out one letter at a time and trying to get them lined up and it stinks. So I'm going to click my cursor into there. Notice you can see my flashing cursor just barely. And I'm going to type in the word spring on my computer keyboard, S-P-R-I-N-G. Typing it in. Then I'm going to touch the enter key on my keyboard, type in the word has, and then I'm going to touch my enter key again, and I'm going to type in the word sprung. Spring has sprung, indicating that each word is going to be on a separate horizontal line, right? The size is 12 millimeters. I don't know if that's good or bad yet. I do, but we're going to let it go in at 12. It always defaults to the smallest. So I can change that now if I know what I want, or I can apply it and see what happens. These are all the different shapes that my lettering could take. It can go across in a straight line. It can go vertical. It can be in an arc. It can be in an arc the other way. There's all different shape options. Today, we're just doing straight because we're new and we just want it to be straight. Color sort is check marked, which is awesome. Otherwise, your machine will stop at every letter, right? It'll do the S and it'll stop thinking you want a thread change. If you do, awesome. But if you don't, let the color sort stay checked, okay? Alignment, just like in WordPerfect, I have the ability to be left aligned, center aligned, or right aligned. For this particular project, I want it to be centered. So going back to what we did, I chose my font, Valentina. I typed in my word, spring has sprung. I'm leaving it at the box shape. I am on centered by default, and I am going to click apply. So now you'll see spring has sprung landed on my screen, but not where I need it to be. It kind of jumped down there at the bottom. So I'm going to take my cursor until I'm inside of the box. I'm going to left click and I'm going to drag it up to the center. And I'm going to give you your screen so you can do that. I'll walk you right through it. Okay, so you're going to click on your letter tab.
I can't find, where's my, I keep losing it. Let's see. Okay, I got it. I got it.
You got it. There we go. Mary's like, it's gone. Who moved my keys?
So go to letter.
Yes. And then click the drop down arrow next to the gallery of fonts. Sometimes when I do that, it doesn't drop down. Sometimes I have to click up to 3 times to get that gallery viewer to hold places. I don't know if it's a glitch in my machine or if it happens to you, but just keep clicking the drop down arrow if it doesn't pop up right away. And you're going to scroll down to the category script, which is near the bottom. And you want to choose the Valentina 12 to 40 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then you're going to click into the white box where it says letters and type in spring with a capital S. Then hit the enter key, has, enter key, sprung. And once you've done that, everything else should be set. You should be able to click the apply button way over on the right-hand side. And it drops in at the bottom of your screen. I'm not sure why. I don't know how it picks where it goes, but so then put your cursor in there. You'll get the double plus kind of a sign with your cursor and left click and drag it up to the middle of your screen.
Now, how do you, spring has sprung, applied, I got it, and then, okay.
Okay, yes, Marty?
Libby, is there a button on this screen that centers your design?
It's not on the letter screen, but there is one. Yes, it's on the home screen.
Okay, I just wondered. I knew.
Yeah,
I had
there
had
is.
before.
Yeah, there
Thank
definitely is.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, everybody got it?
Yeah.
I've got it, but it's got the center where it's the gold, the alignment for center. It's got that same tab inside of mine, or off to the left.
Oh, that's a little clipboard that's off to the left of the words, and that just means you've got options. Good eye, look at you. You're noticing it all. I love it.
Now, Libby, you didn't mention it, but what is that spacing where it says 1.2? It's right below the alignment.
It's the space between lines. So if you wanted bigger spacing in between your line, in between spring, has, sprung, that is what that is. And the gap, which is, okay, so Jennifer is asking about this. Because it's in the line formatting area, it is the space between lines. So we've got 1.2 in between spring and has, and in between has and sprung. The gap over here has to do with the gap between the letters. So if you had a font that was getting really weird and wonked out, you could change that gap, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm back here and spring has sprung is in the center of my, whatever kind of flowers those are. And I think it's too small. Okay. So if I were to increase the size here and hit apply again, it's going to put another copy of it on there. That's not what I want to do. So I'm going to, and you need to know where this is. I'm going to undo that. That little blue arrow that goes backwards is your best friend for when you get in the weeds. So I'm going to undo what I just did, and it took away that second copy. Sometimes you've typed something out and it wasn't easy. It might've been weird words or weird lettering or whatever. You don't want to have to retype the thing. So what I can do is see how my cursor is like double-ended plus, pointing up and down and side to side. That means I'm inside of my active design. I'm going to right click while I'm in there, and I'm going to get an opportunity to do all sorts of things to that lettering. I'm going to go to properties, which is the second one down. So I'm going to now click on properties, and I'm going to say, look what it gave me. Everything I set up to begin with. So I've got my Valentina 12 to 40. I've got my spring has sprung. There's my size and all of those other options. I'm going to tell it that I want that to be 17 millimeters instead of 15. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in 17 and I'm going to say, okay, it made it bigger and I didn't have to retype anything. I didn't have to delete it. This is new for Marty. I think you said you had 5D. We used to have to just keep trying over and over and over to get the lettering right. Now we can simply right click it and change it. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys do that. So we're going to let Mary find her screen again.
Yes. There it is.
Yay! So you're going to put your cursor inside of the box that says sprung, and you're going to right click. Then you're going to click on properties.
Got it.
And you're going to change that to 17 millimeters.
Got it?
Or you don't have to say, okay, I'm sorry. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm in the Mac. Sorry. All right. So, we are now on page 5. And now we're going to take a look at how do we maneuver when we have 2 designs on the screen, because right now we have 2 separate designs on the screen. So I'm going to go back to the Home tab. And if I want to do something with my Encore design, if I click on it, notice that the boxes are now around the outside design. And Spring Has Sprung doesn't have a box around it anymore. But we know
Mine
that
does. Mine's got the box, the green.
yours does, because we haven't moved yours.
Okay, got
Come
it.
back to my screen. Come back. I'm sharing again. Come back to me.
Got it.
Okay. So I was on Spring Has Sprung. I had a box around that when we first came into
Right.
this screen. It looked like this, right?
Correct.
But if I click on, and notice there's only one color over here in my design panel under the faces. There's one color. That is the color of the lettering. If I hover over it, my lettering turns yellow. So it is not the colors that are in my flowers. This is simply the one that is selected. It's got a box around it. If I click on the Encore design, I see my 32 colors again. I have a box around the outside. And now if I want to go back to Spring Has Sprung and I click there, I can't get there because it's under the bigger box. I cannot grab Spring Has Sprung, not by clicking. However, right up here in my ribbon bar, do you see previous design and next design? See my cursor?
Hey, Libby,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So I don't know how you got from the box around Spring Has Sprung to the orange around the whole design.
I clicked on the flowers. I actually clicked on the
Got
Encore
it.
design. Okay, you good? Okay.
Yeah.
So now if I want to get to Spring Has Sprung, I can click on Next Design. Notice that the box went back to Spring Has Sprung. They are 2 separate designs right now. I've got 2 designs on the screen. I can click Next Design again and it goes back to my circle. The other way I can do this is what I had Marty do earlier, and I had her just touch the tab key on her screen or on her keyboard. And tab will walk you through all of the designs on the screen as well. So you can either use the next design, previous design up here, or you can use your tab key to move around. So what we want to do is we want to make this all one design, because we have to make it a single design to go to our machine. So right up here, almost in the center, is the word combine. Okay, so I'm going to click on combine, and it says, do you want to combine all, combine selected, or fix the stitches? I want to combine everything on my screen into one design. So I'm going to click combine all. Before I do that, look over on my design panel. Notice I have 16,104 stitches, 32 colors. I'm going to click combine all, and that's going to change because it's going to make this all one design. So combine all. It now incorporated my words into my design, right? I have 17,960 stitches and 33 colors. Again, we are not going to change our colors 33 times. We're getting to that. Okay, so we did a combine all. Notice that now my boxes are white. I have a box around the entire design with white corners, white square corners. That says this is a fixed design. It has been combined and it's ready to go. Okay.
Libby,
Yes.
my stitch count is different. It's 17,871, but everything else looks the same on my screen.
It just means that, and all of our stitch counts may be a little bit different because if you'll remember, we drug that Encore design to just inside of our grid. And we may
Okay,
have all stopped at a slightly different point.
Okay, okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Lynn. You're very right. Okay, so I did combine and then combine all. And now right underneath combine, do you see the word color sort? Right up here on my screen? I'm gonna click that. Look at my design panel. I've only got 5 thread changes now. Woohoo. All right, your turn.
Okay.
So we're going to our home tab. If you want to play with going from design to design for a moment, you can use that next design that's in your ribbon bar, or you can use your tab key so you can kind of see you have 2 separate designs on your screen.
Now you went to the home where it says home.
Home tab, yes.
Okay.
Upper left, right next to file. You see
That's
it?
save.
No, below that.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Boy, Jerry, you are sitting in some kind of sunbeam. You must have a wonderful window where you are. Oh, you're muted. Is this a skylight? Okay, so the home tab, we're going to do combine, combine all, and then color sort. Everybody good?
Yep, I got it.
Awesome.
Mute
All
here.
right. So Jerry, are you sitting in a sunbeam?
I've got skylights and everything. I keep moving around the table here. I'm still
I
on-
can't see your screen.
I know, I can't. I keep moving around. I have a question. I'm behind you guys, but on Spring Has Sprung, and I need to make it the 17 millimeter. I have to click in the middle of it. Is that what you're telling me?
Right click in the middle of Spring Has Sprung.
See,
Does
then
it bring up? Okay, Jerry, question for you.
okay.
Do you have a box around Spring Has Sprung, or do you have a box around your your flower circle?
I have a box around Spring Has Sprung, but when I right click on it, it has like fixed stitches, properties, handles.
Yes.
Okay.
Click on properties.
Properties. That's what I couldn't figure out. Okay.
There you go.
All right. Now I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you see where you do change the millimeters there?
Yes.
Excellent.
I was trying to figure out where to go. I'm way
I hear
behind.
you. I promise I won't tell you where to go.
Okay.
Yes, I will. Go to your home tab now and do a combine.
And
Do you see combine?
I see home.
Okay, so click the home tab.
Oh, yes, I see combine.
Click combine and then choose combine all.
Yep, gotcha.
And then do color sort, which is right below that.
Colors. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, excellent. All right. Have we blown any brains yet?
No.
Good. All right, so now I'm sharing my screen again, and you'll notice we have, somebody's computer's having all sorts of fun. I don't think it's me.
No, it's me.
You'll notice we have 5 colors, right? And again, if I hover, I can tell what is what. I'm over the dark green, I see it's the stems. There's my flower color, and then there's my accented flower color. Well, when I hover over the 3rd color, are you really not going to do this right now? Unbelievable. Usually when you hover over a color, it'll tell you which color it is. Come on. There we go. Okay, for some reason it got mad at me. So I see that the 3rd color is 2588, mid lilac in the Robeson Anton thread range. Okay, so remember 2588 for just a moment, because I really think that my Spring Has Sprung would look nice being the same color as the flower color. I don't think it needs to be a different color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to color number 5, and I'm going to say, you know what? I don't want you to be 2287 mauve. I want you to be whatever I just said, 2588. So what I can do is I can double click on color number 5, and it brings up my color selection box. Now there's a whole bunch of information in this window. And I do want to show you just a couple of things. First of all, I'm in the Robeson Anton Rayon 40 thread range, which is what my lettering came up in. If you are a Floriani thread user, or if you are an Isacord thread user, you can click this drop down arrow and, and select a different thread range. Now there's not very many here right now because right now it says up at the top, show my thread ranges. So you can, there's a whole lesson on how to set up your threads in your thread cache and that kind of thing. But I thought it would be more fun to be able to do a project today, and we can go way more in depth on this thread business. But if I click show all thread ranges, it will give me all of the manufacturers that are out there that Premier knows about. So take a look at this.
Wow.
We got all kinds of threads. So again, if you happen to use, let's just say you use Isacord, you can come, what is it? Oh, Icord, Poly 40. You can click on that, and then all of those thread colors will show up down here in that window, okay? We're working in Robeson Anton right now, so I am going to put it back to that. But the nice thing about knowing this is Robeson Anton Poly 40. If you have a spool of thread in your hand and you want to see what it's going to look like in your design, you can choose that thread color, that thread range, and that thread color and put those actual colors in. The other thing, I have a design that I use for a wedding gift all the time. And I find it's a couple of doves holding the wedding rings, and it's got some flowers, and I didn't like the original colors. Well, I just picked the colors I liked when I stitched it out several times. And then I was finally like, well, why don't I put those in there? Because I could never remember when I went back what it was I had had. So you can actually put in the colors you used. Okay, so I want this color to be the same as color number 3, which probably nobody remembers at this point, but it was 2588. So rather than scrolling through here to find it, I can come into this white box and say find thread, and I can type in 2588. Oh, I didn't pick the right Robeson Anton because it didn't grab the right color. What did I do? Robeson Anton.
There it is,
Oh,
yeah.
it's Rayon 40,
Rayon
sorry.
40.
There it is. So 2588, 2588. Notice it picks up color 2588 in the thread range. It shows me that color right here, and I can say, okay. Look over here on my design panel. These two colors are now the same, 2588, 2588. Well, I don't want it to stop. Why don't we just stitch all that purple at one time? So I'm going to come back over here to color sort and say, do it all at one time. So now I have 4 colors instead of 5. Okay, your turn. So we're going to change color number 5 to the same as color number 3. And to do that, we're going to double click on color number 5. And then we're going to go into the find thread little box and type in 2588 and say okay. And then once we've done that, we're going to color sort again so that we only have 4 colors.
Libby, if I've lost my colors in my box, how do I get my colors back?
Jerry, you know why you've lost your colors in your box. You tell me why you have no colors in your box.
I clicked on in the box, I think.
And you got them back, didn't you?
No, I haven't gotten them back. I think they went
Okay.
away.
Click on your design. Anywhere inside
in
of
the
your work
design.
area, click on the design.
Okay, now they're back. Okay,
They're
gotcha.
back. They're
Okay.
back. And thank you for saying that, because I want to show that to everybody, because that's always a panic for new users. Okay, everybody got their color changed and color sorted?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so Jerry's question, and this is a common one, and we've all done, I've done it. I'm like, notice right now on my screen there, my design is selected. I can tell that because it's got a box around it with handles. If I click outside of the design, it's no longer selected. Notice there's no colors over here now because I don't have the design selected. As soon as I click on the design, my colors will come back because it's selected and it shows me the information about that design. So that's a common panic. It's like, oh, I've lost all my thread colors. No, you haven't. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. Now, for the $64 question is, okay, I've got this design and that's lovely. It's on my computer and my sewing machine's over there. And how does one talk to the other? And this is the big challenge, it seems like, when people first get embroidery software, and even a long time after they've had embroidery software. So there are two different ways that we can keep this design, okay? We can keep it in a format that our machine can read, and we can keep it in a format that, I combined it, rats. I can save it. Let me say that a different way. I can save it to my computer, or I can export it so that my machine can read it. I save every design that I do on my computer just as a saved file. And then I export for the machine as well. I'm wondering if I can. It won't let me. Oh, yes, it did. No, it didn't. Can I come back far enough? Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go. Is that going to help you guys? It's not going to help. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I'm sorry. I'll quit playing. I want to teach you everything all at one time. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Okay. So to save this design, I can do it two ways. I can either click on File up here in the upper left-hand corner, and I can click on Save, or I can click on this little floppy disk that's up here that says Save. And I think all of you remember floppy disks. You tell that to somebody my daughter's age and they go, what? So there's Save, Save As, and Export. And all of those items are available under that File drop-down menu as well. So Save allows me to save it and name it the first time. If I were to bring this back up and I wanted to save it with some changes, I might want to rename it. So Save As allows me to rename it, just like a Word document. You have a document and you save it the first time you name it, you bring it back up, and maybe you're sending the same letter to a different person, you want to name it a different thing. So Save As allows you to do that. Export is what lets me get it in a format that my machine can read. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save it. So I'm going to click on Save. And you can see up here at the very top of my screen, it still says Untitled right now because we haven't named it. Okay. And I have already saved this once. So you see it in my Designs folder. But the file name, notice when I say save, says untitled.bp4. Some people get excited and they save it as an untitled, and then they have multiple untitles. So you do need to name it. So it's blue right now. I'm going to type in here, spring has sprung, which there's already one here, class. I'm just going to add the word class so that I'm saving a different one. Notice it says save as type, Husqvarna/FOF *bp4. VP4 is a working file. It's every person's file. You want to save your design as a VP4, okay? Regardless of what machine you own. It says Viking FOF, don't worry about that. VP4 If we hadn't combined this design, we could have gotten back into it and changed the words or changed the flowers or whatever very easily if it's a VP4. So just make a note to yourself or highlight or circle or whatever that the VP4 is a working file. It tells you that on page 6. Okay. And notice where I am right now. This is my path. I'm on my PC. I'm in Documents. I'm in Premiere Plus 2, and I'm in My Designs. That is where I want to save all of my embroidery designs, because that's where Premiere is going to go look for them when you go to open them. So if for some reason you got in here and let's say you came up with desktop and you go, this isn't where I want to save this. I want to save it in my Premiere Plus 2 folder. So you would, here, the steps are Documents, Premiere Plus 2. And I'm going to open that, and then I'm going to go into My Designs. That's where I want to save it. And I have highlighted that for you on your sheet. So you work over here on the left-hand side to get there. Documents, Premiere Plus 2, My Designs. Spring has sprung, I'm naming it, and I'm going to say save. Now notice up here at the top, it has a name now. Spring has sprung class. Okay, so I've saved it. I know that because it has a name. And now I'm ready to export it so that I can take it to my machine. But before we do that, let's have everybody save it so that we all have a named one, and then we'll come back and do this. Export. Yay! So you can either click on the floppy disk or you can click on the File tab and then click on the word Save. Then you need to go to your Documents, Premiere Plus 2, and My Designs.
My Design. I got it.
Yay!
Good job.
Hooray, hooray. Everybody got it saved? Good. Jennifer's good. Mary, you're working. Jean, did you get it? Good deal. Lynn, I know, got it. Jerry, you good?
I'm still working on my color sort, so keep going. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
How you doing, Mary?
I'm lost on it, but that's okay. I'll go back afterwards
No,
and
it's
go
not.
through.
No, it's not. This is
Yes.
one of the most important pieces of this, because if you can't save your designs, so tell me what you see. What are you doing?
I did nothing because somehow I erased everything I had. So I'll start over. I've got all my notes.
Whoa. Can you do an undo to get it back?
How do you undo?
Okay, I'm going to share screen. I want to show you. So hang on just a second. Let me show you. My guess is that you just deleted your design totally by accident.
Right.
Okay? So
Right.
follow my cursor. You see it? See it moving? You see my cursor?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go up here in that quick access. This is your undo.
Okay.
It's this little blue arrow that takes
Right.
you back. There's a good chance that you can undo until you get your design back on the screen.
Okay.
Okay. And once you do that, let me just quick show you the steps. You're going to do you prefer the tab or the icon for save?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. So you would click on save. I'm going to have to click save as because I've already saved it once. But we click on save as. Look up at my screen for a second here.
Yep.
Okay. And then we want to go to Documents, Premiere
Okay.
Plus 2, My Designs, and then you're going to name it and you're going to click Save. Okay. So let's see if you can undo your way back and get your
Okay.
design back, something to save.
Nope, I've done 5 and it doesn't bring it back.
Try a redo instead, the arrow that goes the other way. Try that several times. You get anything back on your screen at
No,
all?
no.
Okay. All right. So do me a quick favor then, because I want you to be able to save something. Click on the Super Design tab up there at the top.
Correct.
Okay. Pick anything that's there. I don't care what it is.
Right.
Whatever's in that gallery viewer, highlight one of them and click apply way over on the right.
Got it.
Okay. So what did you choose? What have you got in your
The
screen?
tulip, the tulip.
Oh, you've got a tulip. Excellent. Let's save the tulip. So I want you
Okay.
to click on your floppy disk.
The floppy disk. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Is that the very first one?
It's not the file folder. It's the
Save.
one that
It-
looks like a
it-
disk. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now in that, tell me what's in that white bar at the top. What does it say?
This
This
PC documents premiere are down at the bottom where it says
Nope,
file
you're right where
name.
you are. Keep reading. Keep reading. This
Okay.
PC
Premiere
document-
2, my designs.
Yes. Okay. So down at the bottom, it says untitled, right?
Correct.
Type in the word tulip.
Okay.
And then click save. Bottom right-hand corner.
Okay. Got it.
There isn't anybody getting out of here without saving this design and exporting it today. It's not gonna happen on my watch. Okay.
Good.
So now if you look up top, Mary, you see
Yes.
that your design has a name. It says tulip, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Okay. So now we want to export the design so that our machines can read it, right? Because most of our machines cannot read well, some of the upper end machines can read VP4s, but we want to export it to our machine's language. So the export icon is the one that is the floppy disk with the arrow pointing out, saying I'm going to export you to my machine, or I can click on File, and notice it's still got that same floppy disk with the arrow pointing out, and it says the word export. Okay, I can go either way. Now, when I export the design, I'm clicking on Export, I get a window of options that pop up. I really should have reset my options. Dang on it. All right, let me do this. For my Viking FOF owners, and there's a different step if you're not a Viking FOF owner. But for the Vikings and the FOF owners, for our file format, we're going to choose the second option. The first one is that VP4 that we talked about, that's a working file. We want to export as a VP3 if we're FOF or Viking. So I'm going to select that. Notice my design shows up in my little hoop right here. And I'm going to say, okay. It's going to bring up a second window. I'm still on this PC Documents Premiere +2, my designs. Look at my file name now, though. It says Spring Has Sprung class exported. So configure actually goes ahead and appends the word exported, telling me that this is my machine file. Okay, if I export it to the My Designs file, I have a copy of it on my hard drive, but that doesn't help me stitch it, does it? So what I need to do is put my USB stick into my USB drive. And now I need to come over here on the left-hand side and I need to choose my USB drive as where I want this thing to export, right? When I clicked on the USB drive, notice up here in my path, it says this PC USB drive. Woohoo, I'm in the right spot. It has already named it because I've saved it first. Spring has sprung, class exported. So then down here, my button says export. So I'm going to click that and it did it. It's done. It has translated it for my machine. Okay. Bernina and Baby Lock owners, you have a second step in order to export from what we just did. So I am going to run back through this one more time and hopefully it will, I think it's going to remember it on me. Let me do an export. Okay, it remembered that I did a VP3 the first time. So once you start to export, it'll hold your format for what you're exporting. For those of you who have a Bernina or a Baby Lock, we're going to choose the .pes file for exporting. The EXP Melco Expanded also works. The only thing about that is it doesn't always hold your colors. So we've been using the PES with more success. So I'm going to click on that and it didn't do it. What happens the first time you do this is it's going to bring up the tiniest hoop that you own down here for some reason with Baby Lock and PES. So you're going to have to come into this middle section and click change hoop and pick something big enough to accommodate the design. Okay. So I like to, Baby Lock and Brother are the only two that pop up. The Bernina doesn't pop up here. So I usually just pick Baby Lock and then choose a hoop that is big enough to accommodate the design. Again, it doesn't matter what you hoop it in for your machine as long as the hoop is bigger than the design. Okay. And then I'm going to say, okay. And it will make that hoop bigger. And I will say, okay, again, and tell it where to go. Notice it went back to my USB drive, right? And it appended .pes. So I can save designs for any machine. What you got, Lynn? Unmute yourself.
What hoop did you choose?
I just chose the, I did a change hoop. I did Baby Lock and I used the Destiny. You could use the Solaris and then picked something that was big enough. So I picked the 150 by 150 because that was an option.
Okay,
Okay.
but that won't be an option for me when because I don't have a square hoop, right?
Correct, but as long as you pick a hoop that's bigger than that, both dimensions to stitch it, your machine will read it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to say okay. And I'm going to show you something else, but I'm not going to confuse it right now. I'm going to show you something else in just a minute, Lynn. And I'm going to say export, and now it is exported. And I'm going to let you guys do this. So we've all already saved it, right? We did that first. So now we're going to do an export. So click on your floppy disk that has the arrow going out and say export. And you need to put a USB stick in if you want to put it on a USB. Otherwise, that won't be an option to pick. You can certainly export it into My Designs too. And then copy it over to a USB stick, whichever works better for you.
I hit the export, but it's not showing it. File name.
When you click on export, what happens?
I got it now.
Okay.
Okay. Change hoop.
What do you sew on again, Mary?
The Solaris.
You've got the Solaris, so pick the Solaris. Pick hoop group Baby Lock and then pick Solaris and pick a hoop that is bigger than 150 by 150, or if the 150 by 150 is an option, choose that.
Okay.
And so Libby, to check the size to make the hoop bigger, I'd look to the right where the color panel is and look at the 184 by 184. I'd need it bigger than that. Is that correct?
You made one big design. Mine's only 146 by 146.
Okay, I'm in the brother and baby lock Bernina. How do I get to the Solaris?
Okay. Hang on just a second, Marty. I'll come right back to you.
That's all right.
Okay, so the manufacturer, you've got Baby Lock, right?
It says brother baby lock Bernina, PES.
Okay, click the drop down arrow there and choose Baby Lock. Oh, wait a minute. Where are you? Are you talking about file format or change who? Where are you?
I'm in the export area.
Okay, so up at the top, brother Baby Lock Bernina, parentheses PES. Is that what you got?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
now midway down in that window and click on change hoop.
Okay.
Now for manufacturer, choose Baby Lock. So click on that, the manufacturer bar
Correct.
and choose Baby Lock. And then for hoop group, hunt for Solaris. I think it's the fourth one down. Choose it.
This one's going only down to Destiny, which would be about the same.
Okay, choose Destiny. You need to do an update.
Okay.
And then choose a hoop that is, let's see, what are your options? There's a 150 by 150 in there, I believe.
I've got 100, let's see, 150. Nope, I've got 100 by 100.
Got to go bigger. Come two more down. It should be 150 by 150.
It's not showing that to me.
Huh.
Destiny, let me see what the Destiny says. I can go 180 by 130.
Not big enough. Next one down.
200 by 200.
Choose that. That'll work.
Okay. Got it. And then
Okay.
hit okay.
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 And then if you want it on a USB drive, you've got to stick your USB drive in your slot.
Okay, I don't have one here with me now.
Okay, well, you can save it into My Designs then, or you can
Okay.
export it into My Designs
Okay.
and say, okay.
It just, okay, it's hit down here.
It did it. It did it.
Okay. Yep, there it is. There it
There
is.
it is. There it is. All right. Okay, so now I want to show you.
Now mine says when I go to save as, it says Spring has sprung class exported, but then underneath it says save as type brother babylock Bernina .pes. So
Correct.
I just hit export, is that right?
That is correct. So what that means, everybody, when you see the multiple machine manufacturers listed, it means they all read the .pes file.
But I don't think mine didn't save into the USB.
Oh, did you not pick the USB over on your left-hand side?
I don't know, I didn't.
You can export it again and send it to the USB stick.
Okay.
I usually, quite honestly, I export both places. I export into My Designs and I export into the USB stick, because if I know a design that I want to stitch, I don't necessarily need to open it. I can just copy the exported file onto the USB and take it to the machine. I do not store designs on my USB sticks because those pesky little things run around. I put it on there when I want to stitch it.
So I need to right click and copy it and then put it into my USB drive, right?
Correct. Correct. Excellent.
And then paste.
And as soon as you're good, I'm going to share screen, but I don't want to override you while you're doing that.
Okay, just a second, I'm almost there.
Okay.
Spring has been exported and it looks like it got, I just wanted to make sure it's the,
Yeah, and that's the next thing I'm going to show everybody is how to check.
okay, I'm there.
Okay. All right, I want to introduce you to your second best friend. Your best friend was your undo key, right? Undo and redo. And the undo key for Marty is almost unlimited now. It used to be that in 5D, we could go back 2 or 3 steps, but that was it. Now you can almost undo back to the beginning of time in a work window. But your best friend, as far as knowing what you got and where you have it, is right down here in your taskbar. And forgive me if you are computer wizards and you already know all of this, but a lot of people aren't very familiar with File Explorer. And they kind of think Explorer is like, oh, something where I surf the internet or whatever. No, File Explorer is the filing system on your computer. Just like in your office, you might have a 4-drawer file cabinet. This is your file cabinet on your computer. So if I click on my file folder, it shows me everything I have on the computer. So right now, I am in my quick access, which I don't like. I like to be down here in this PC because quick access is where I've been recently. And sometimes if you haven't been somewhere recently, you think something's gone. So I kind of like to just close that. I don't like quick access for the most part, especially when I'm teaching. So down here under this PC, if I want to see what I have in my designs, I can click on Documents and I can click on Premiere Plus 2. I'm going to double click that. And then I can open up my designs and see what I've got in there. I have 2, Spring Has Sprung, the one I did last night when I was preparing for class, and the one I did today that says Spring Has Sprung class. Isn't that delightful? I can see that it has a P. That is so not helpful when I'm looking at designs. So I can come up here and click on the View tab, and this is part of the beauty of Premiere. Those of you who have done embroidery for years without it, I bow down, because how do you stitch a design without knowing what it looks like? So if I go to my View tab and I click on Large Icons, or let's do Extra Large, now I can see what those designs are. Right? It's still not very big, goodness gracious, but I can at least tell that that is my Spring Has Sprung. Let me show you another file folder. I wanted my designs to look like yours, so I hid my designs. Let me figure out where I put them. In there. Okay, so here is my designs folder. I have a few designs, and what I do is I save them by the name of the designer and the disc. So like Anita Good Design, Cutwork Napkins, Anita Good Design, Christmas cards, Anita Good Design, Heirloom Centerpiece, things like that. So let's just say, let's find one, Cherish Christmas Moments. That's the one I just did. So if I open that folder and I open the designs folder, and VP3 would be my particular format, the .vp3 for Viking and FOF, right? So if I open that up, if I'm in the list view up here on my View tab, all I get are these names of the designs that Anita Good Design came up with. That is not helpful. So if I go to Extra Large Icons, now I can see them. I can see the designs that are there, and I can know that I want to stitch out the barn in some certain color or size. I'm sorry, Anita Good does the AAA. Those are all different sizes, sort of thing. So if I change my view, I can see all of my designs. So those of you who own tons and tons of designs, you can change your view and see what you have. Let's come down to another one.
So all we would do is put our flash drive in, bring it up and save it. Yes.
Yeah, into my designs. I would create a folder, and actually I'm going to show you that right now. I had Joyce bring me a CD. I remember my CD drive, but I forgot my CDs. Let's open up Dogs and Cats. I have no idea what's in here. Okay, so I have a whole bunch of designs that I have piled into my Dogs and Cats folder, right? But when I look at that, the P plus is not helpful. But if I change to extra large icons, now I can see what all of those designs are and I can choose them. So if I want to stitch out this Airedale, I can just double click it from File Explorer and it will open up in Premiere, which is part of what this Premiere Plus Ultra did for you. Marty, you're familiar with the old organizer where you had to go look. I don't have to do that anymore. It's all available in File Explorer. Look at that. I have an Airedale. I opened it right from seeing that design in File Explorer. Okay. If you look down here at the very bottom of my screen, you can, if I hover over the Premiere, remember how I told you you could have 2 designs or more working designs open at one time? Spring Has Sprung is there, so is that Airedale. So if I hover over the P and I want to go back to my Spring Has Sprung, I just take my cursor to that window and open it. If I want to go to the Airedale, I come back down here over the P plus and I go to that window and I click on it and I open it.
Now,
Okay.
where was the File Explorer? Because my black bar for the Zoom kind of covers, oh, okay.
Does it? Okay, it's the thing that looks like a folder in a stand down there in the taskbar. And you really, that, it is so helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then, like I say, you just change that view and you can see them. Boy, there are some wild colors in here. All right, so if I am going to take a CD, right, of designs,
Yep.
because I don't want them to just be on the CDs anymore, because I don't want to have to fiddle with that. I want to be able to see it in the software. I can I have an external disk drive because my PC doesn't have a disk drive in it. They've stopped putting them in because it's the first thing that fails. So they just let you buy a little $30 one and you can throw it away when it doesn't work. Okay, so I'm taking out my USB stick because I don't have 2 USB drives. Okay, so what I do is I read my disk. This is, whoops. I keep wanting to go in front of the screen that you're on instead of my screen. This is an OESD set of designs and its name is All a Twitter. So what I would do to put all of these designs on my hard drive is, you're still seeing my screen, correct? Yeah. I would come down here to my File Explorer and I would open it up and I would go to Documents, Premiere Plus 2, My Designs, because I want all of my designs to live in the same place. So every time I look for them, I can find them, right? So these 2 designs are now sitting here loose. We didn't put them in a folder today, which is fine. But you could create a new folder, call it class, and keep all of your class files in there. I'm going to create a new folder right now to live in my designs, and I'm going to name it OESD All a Twitter. Because then if I pull this CD off my shelf and I look in File Explorer, I know I've already put them on here and I don't need to put them on again. Now I've got a backup copy. If somebody steps on my CD, it's on my laptop. So notice that my new folder is the blue name. I'm going to name it. I'm going to type right in there, OESD. Whoops. I was trying to turn off all of my caps locks and I didn't do it. So now I got to rename it. Sorry. OESD All a Twitter. Twitter. And if I care, they're by Carrie Carr. If I have a designer that I really like, I have a lot of Martha Pullen designs because she does a lot of heirloom stuff. I'll put Martha Pullen in the name so that I know those are heirlooms. Once I've typed in the name like I did, I'm going to hit enter so that it takes that name. So now I have a brand new folder, right, called OESD All a Twitter. If I double click it, it shows me this PC, Documents, Premiere Plus 2, My Designs. I'm in the folder OESD, all of Twitter. And it says this folder is empty. Hot dog. I want it to be empty, right? I just created it. There's nothing in there yet. So now I'm going to put this in my CD drive. I have no idea what these designs are. I was just like, Joyce, I need a design disc. If you got one, I imagine it's birds. I don't know. All right. So when you put in your CD, usually they start to auto run and it should open, I would guess. We'll see what happens. Ah, look at that. It tells me I'm on the DVD drive, right? You can see it up here, OESD and its number. And these are all PES design. That's weird. Let's see what's in here. Yeah, it's really strange. Okay, usually I don't digitize in PES, but the good news is it doesn't matter because we can bring it up in our system and export it in our embroidery system. So what I'm going to do is I am going to highlight all of the designs. Actually, I can copy the whole thing. I can put the whole thing on my, which is probably smart. Oh, yeah, they are birds. I guessed right, didn't I? Okay. That's just, I'm so confused as to why that came up that way. Oh, here we go. In the designs folder that was already open for some reason, you can choose the format that you want to put on your hard drive. You don't have to put them all if you don't want, right? You could just put the PES files or you could just put the VP3 files. Okay, so I am going to right click that. Whoops, sorry. I'm gonna highlight it. I'm gonna right click it and I'm gonna copy it. Okay, so I highlighted it, I right clicked it, I copied it. Now I'm gonna come back over here to Documents, Premiere Plus 2, My Designs, and I'm gonna open that folder. This is a mistake we all make. We see it and we don't open it and then we throw them all into just the pile at the bottom. So there's my folder that's empty. I'm simply going to, I have a tendency to use right click, but I want you to know that copy and paste are up here in the ribbon bar. I'm going to click paste. Okay, I'm a right clicker. And it is going to copy the VP3 folder to my hard drive. If I open that up, notice I'm in My Designs, OESD, all of Twitter. There's all of the designs. If I change my view to extra large icons, there's all the okay. Now, the other thing I probably want off of here, off of the DVD drive, is the thread chart. It's going to show me all the thread, right? So I'm going to want to right click that and bring that over as well. So I'm going to highlight that thread chart. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say copy because it's going to tell me how to do it. And I'm going to come back over here to Documents. Come here. Premiere Plus 2. My Designs. Open the folder. And I'm going to right click and paste. And there's the thread chart. Now we can copy the entire CD. That is not a problem. If that's easier for you, that is totally fine. So saying that, now that I've said that, let me show you that because then you can access whatever you want. I'm just going to go ahead and delete those. So let's start again. We've got our folder, right? This PC, Documents, Premiere Plus 2, My Designs, OESD, all of Twitter. I'm going to come to the DVD drive and I'm going to right click and I'm going to say copy. And then I'm going to come back to Documents, Premiere Plus 2, My Designs, open the folder. This is a step everybody misses. And then paste. And it's going to copy the entire CD DVD drive. Okay.
So you don't have to select all
No, not if you right click right on that DVD drive in your left-hand pane, right here. Where did my cursor go?
Oh, down.
Here we go. If I highlight that and right click that, I can copy the whole darn thing at one time and I don't even have to think about it.
Okay.
Okay. So Lynn, in order to embroider, how many of you have not embroidered yet? Much. Everybody's done a little. Basically, you're just going to take that USB drive that you exported to, insert it into your Bernina, select the design, hoop your towel with some stabilizer, right? I usually use tearaway stabilizers for my towel projects because then I can just tear it off when I'm done. And what I do is I fold the towel in half, put a pin in the, see the pin? That's the middle, right? And then I lay that over, I put the stabilizer over my hoop, which is bigger than my hoop, lay the towel over, put the insert in, take the pin out once I'm centered, obviously, before I crunch it in the inner hoop, push that down, push that hoop through just a little bit so that it's riding on the fabric, not the outer hoop. Load that up in the machine and stitch her out.
Okay.
Okay. What questions do you have this morning? Actually, we're at noon. It's or afternoon. We've gotten to afternoon. Does anybody have?
I wondered with this step that you're at, if I have all my designs from my Viking machine on my USB drive, and then I want to stick it in and then just save it all into my documents, Premiere 2, and then my designs, and then just create. Do I have to save each one individually, or?
No, let me show you. Everybody okay with what we're doing right now?
Absolutely.
Okay, let me take this. All right, did I bring? I think I brought 2 empty. It's empty. All right, I'm gonna demonstrate that for you, but give me just a hot second to do it. Let's go here. There. Let's do some Kimberbell stuff. I need something to demonstrate it with. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
No, I picked more than I meant to. Oh, well, it won't take that long. So yes, essentially what you're going to do is you're going to take your USB drive and you're going to insert it in with all of your Viking designs on it. And then you can copy the entire thing at one time, the same way we just talked about copying the entire CD drive.
Okay.
I wanted it to be more than one, but I didn't necessarily mean for it to. Shoot.
That's all right.
It's almost finished here.
And then how will I change it to the PES? Do I have to do each design individually to export it as an EPS, or can you just change them all from Viking to the PES?
There is a convert function, but I don't know if I can do multiple files at once. And I don't know that you need to until you're ready to stitch them.
Okay.
Typically, when I get ready to embroider, I want to look at it in the software because I want to see all the colors and I want to see what I'm doing and that kind of thing. And then I just export in whatever file format I need.
Okay.
So that would be my inclination. Just like if you have, I've got one gal that's in Software Club that probably has 50 purchased fonts. And you have to bring them in one letter at a time because in a purchased font, the system sees each one of those letters as an embroidery stitch out, not as a letter. So we actually have to attach it to the alphabet. So I told her, I said, don't bring them all in at once. Good Lord, you'd lose your mind. Bring them in when you're ready to use them and take the time to do it when you're ready to use them, but don't do it all at one time. Okay. One of the things, and I want to answer this question, but one of the things you should always do when you're removing a USB stick from your computer so that you don't corrupt it is come down here to this little up arrow that's in your taskbar and see this little dude that looks like a USB stick, looks like a little guy. You're going to click on that and say eject the USB stick. And now it says it's safe to remove hardware. So I pull that out now because otherwise, if the machine is trying to read it when you pull it out, it can actually damage it and you can have corrupt files. So
So say that again. When you remove the USB, there's
when you're ready to remove a USB stick, you want to come down here to the little up arrow, which is where your hidden icons are.
Up arrow.
And you click on that, and there's a little picture of a USB stick if there's one in there. I've got mine out right now, so you can't see it. You click on that, and then you say eject. Okay. So Marty's question for me is, and probably all of you have purchased designs that are either on USB sticks or they're on CDs. If they're on a USB stick, and if they are a purchased design, you're going to take your USB stick, you're going to put it into your computer. Notice I don't need to be in Premiere right now because I'm working in File Explorer. It brought up my USB drive. Everybody see that? I'm on the USB drive. And here are my designs. They're in folders, right? So the question is, can I copy them all at one time? Yes. I can come over here to USB drive in the left-hand side. I'm left clicking on it to highlight it. Then I'm going to right click. Actually, wait a minute, let me see something. Like I said, I'm such a right clicker. I can highlight it and then I can come up here and click copy. If you can't remember how to do the right click business, you can click copy here. And then you go where you want it to go. So we go to Documents, Premiere +2, My Designs, and I'm going to click Paste. And because I copied the entire thing, it kept all my folders for me. I didn't open any folders. I just copied the whole USB stick.
Okay.
Okay. When you are doing, for those of you who know how to cut as well as copy, if you have a purchased USB stick, don't cut because it'll take it off of there. And then if something happens to your computer, it's gone. Whereas with CDs, you can't cut, you can only copy. The CDs are read-write protected, but USB drives are not, which is one of the reasons I don't like them. For purchase designs, you just have to be a little bit careful. So always copy if they're purchase designs from your USB stick.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, the other thing that I'll show you real quick is if you want your designs that you created today to be in a class folder for next time and for all of our club folder kinds of things, what I can do is I can have my Designs folder open. I can come right here and say new folder. Okay, and I'm going to click new folder. It's making another one, and I'm going to call this Basics Club. Typed in the name, and I have to hit enter so that it accepts the name. Notice it's still got a box around it, so I'm hitting enter. So now my Basics, I'm pointing at it with my finger like you can see that. I'm sorry. Now my Basics Club folder exists and it's named, If I hover over it, it says it's empty, right? Now, I want these two designs to be in there. And a lot of you like to drag and drop, and I'm not a fan because if I sneeze when I'm dragging, I drop and I don't know where I dropped, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this. I'm going to hold down my shift key because I've got two and pick up the second one. Now I've got them both selected. I am going to choose cut because I don't want them hanging out as loose designs at the bottom. I'm going to click on cut. Notice they didn't go anywhere. I haven't heard a thing yet. I'm going to open up my Basics Club folder and I'm going to click paste. There are my two designs inside of this PC Documents Premiere Plus 2 My Designs Basics Club. So now if I go back to My Designs, which I can step back either by using the back arrow or I can click on the My Designs folder, you can see that they are living inside of the folder where they belong instead of loose down here at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can stay very organized with your designs and not have them skitter scattered everywhere and you go, man, I stitched that out. Where is that design? Okay. Questions? Are we fried?
Oh, I think
Anybody learn anything today?
I learned a bunch. Yeah.
Good,
You gotta
good.
retain it.
Yeah.
Well, and then my next question for you is, Jerry, I think, did you go through the other basics class with me where we went through all that? Was this better for you?
Yeah, this was better.
Okay. Okay. I talked, Joan McCrae also went through this class and she said, I just found it helpful to actually work with a design rather than kind of theoretical stuff. So my next question is for all of you is there anything that you're just burning to know when we do our next project? Because I'm going to choose another project so that we touch on various areas in the software for our next club meeting, Basics Club meeting. Is there anything that you're just really, really, really like, if we could get there sooner rather than later, that would be helpful? Anybody?
I don't understand what the clipboard is for. I mean, I've never used the clipboard and sometimes a design has popped up in there. I don't know how I did it, but you know, I just have never, I don't know what the clipboard's for.
Okay, I'll write that down. Anything else?
I would love to know if how you take a design and like, say you have a tree and you have a dog sitting in front of the tree and you have the sun behind the tree. How do you set it up in such a way so you know that it's stitching correctly? So the sun didn't end up stitching over the tree or the dog behind the tree or that kind of thing.
Stitch order, yep. Okay, multiple designs in stitch order, yep. What else? Anybody?
Well, this kind of goes with that. When you do overlays of one on top of the other, how to remove those stitches from the background ones.
Okay. Man, you guys don't want to start basic. You want to get her done. I love it. Yeah, that's the underneath stitches is that's a big one. That's for sure. Particularly when you start putting multiple designs. I do want to show you real quick one more thing. We're just about out of time. We kind of ignored this little arrow up here, this little folder that says insert. When I click on that, it brings up my it brings up File Explorer essentially, right? So everybody see that? I'm going to go back to Documents. It went to where I was last. So it's on the USB drive, which I wasn't expecting, but that's okay. That's a good thing because it sent me somewhere. And if I go to Premiere Plus 2, We have guides, which is where your reference guides are, right? We have my designs, which is where we've been playing today. We also have my pictures and samples. I'm going to open up samples because I want you to know this is here. Premiere +2 EMB embroidery is where we've been, right, today. So I am now looking, I keep wanting to point at my screen. I'm so sorry. Documents, Premiere +2 samples, Premiere +2 EMB. I'm going to double click that. Notice I have picture files, which we will use when we learn how to digitize, like we were digitizing a logo, but we also have stitch files. So if I double click on the stitch file, you own all those designs. They're in your samples, okay? So I'm going to back up. There are a few in the stitch file. I'm going back to Premiere +2 EMB. I'm going to go to Stitch 2. I have folders of designs in here. So I can go to Beach and I have different shells. I can go to Holidays and there are all of these different designs in here that you own, and they're all in samples. So if I wanted to open up this little holiday penguin, I just inserted him onto my, my workspace. My hoop's too small. I've got circles, so I'm going to real quick change this guy to a 200 by 200. There we go. And we've got our penguin in here. Marty said, why is there sometimes something down here and sometimes not? If I click on copy, it puts him in the clipboard. So now he's being held for me putting him somewhere else. So if I wanted to have two of these dudes, I could click paste and it pasted a second copy in my workspace. So not particularly useful for what I just showed you, but that's what the clipboard is about. If you copy something, and remember how we can have multiple windows of Premiere open, I might copy something from this window onto the clipboard, and when I go to the second window of Premiere, it'll be there for me to paste into a second design.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay, so you just hit copy and it puts a copy down in the clipboard.
Yeah, and it really irritates some people that it's there, they're done with it, and they can't figure out how to clear the clipboard. All you have to do is click on the clipboard and it goes away. I just click down there and it went away. Okay.
Huh. Okay. I've often wondered all those years since 2007, I've been doing the embroidery things, and every once in a while it'd come up and it's like, and I never had the time to sit and find out what it was for.
Yeah, I will copy stuff down there. Sometimes maybe I don't have every design open on the screen, and I don't maybe I don't want a couple of them. I'll copy what I do want onto the clipboard, or delete what I don't want, and then bring it back by clicking the paste. So there's a whole, like I said, we can all get part of embroidery, and there's a variety of routes to get there. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll look at removing some background stitches that are underneath things, and sounds like layering is a thing, and then stitch order, that all kind of goes together. So I'll try to make sure we include that in our next class. Okay. Well, you have my email address because I emailed the directions to all of you. So if you stumble across a question, feel free to email me. I try to get back as soon as I can. Okay. And I hope everybody is going to play and do some things. And I would love to see a sample of your stitched out spring sprung at our next class. That's your homework. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.